Hello, and welcome to episode 7 of the Carrie Rolled On Show, where we spend 30 minutes or so a week having conversations that matter to the mompreneur's mind, body, and business. I'm your host, Carrie Rolled On, and I'm a wife, a mother, an author, a coach, a personal growth junkie, and your total business BFF. And my computer's barking at me as I talk. Sorry. I help busy mompreneurs ready to spread their wings to leverage their unique gifts so they can make an impact on the world and help their families as well. I'm also an avid runner and believe it to be an essential practice, not just to my health and fitness, but for the health of my business as well. And to learn more about that, you can download my free report, The 5 Reasons You Can't Afford Not to Run, at freereport.runyourselfhappysystem.com. And I don't have that in my lower third today, and you'll find out why in a minute. But so I want to give that to you again. It's freereport.runyourselfhappysystem.com. Okay, so I created the Carrie Rolled On Show because I have stumbled and continue to on my entrepreneurial journey, because the road to success thus far has been full of potholes, detours, dead ends, not to mention fear, self-doubt, worry, debt, marital tension, and personal struggle. I wanted to share what I continue to learn on my journey in the hopes that it will help others too. And I believe in the mompreneurial dream, and I want to support you guys on your journey as well. So today's topic is one of real interest to lots and lots and lots of people, and especially to us busy mompreneurs who, let's face it, most of us have started online businesses so that we can be home. We can be home with our children, or just not have to have children, and still, I guess we wouldn't be mompreneurs if we didn't have kids, but just taking a minute to think about the peace that would exist in my life without my kids. Yes, I love my kids, don't worry, but just want to relish that for a minute. What would it be like to do business without soccer and t-ball and etc.? Okay, I digress. So the topic for today is the email marketing bubble about to burst? And I wrote a post about it on Google+, and none of you commented to catch my typo, which I think is freaking fantastic, because my story itself and why I compared the email marketing bubble, what I'm calling the email marketing bubble, to the housing bubble, is that my husband and I bought our first condo right before we got married in 2003, I guess. And we paid in Southern California $270,000 for our first condo, which at the time was a total steal. We felt like we got the best deal. We lived in that condo for less than 2 years, and we sold it in, I guess, I don't know, 2005, right? We sold it at the end of 2005 for almost $500,000, which felt pretty good, right? And around that same time, I met with a financial advisor who was trying to convince me that I should sell my house and take the profits from that house and not roll them over into another house. But just about every real estate expert at the time was telling me that's pretty much the stupidest thing you could ever do, because you have to use those profits to buy another property, because values are continuing to go up and there is no end in sight to this real estate boom. If you don't put the profits into your next house, you're never going to be able to buy another house. And it turned out that it might have been a good idea to listen to that financial advisor, because sure enough, we bought our next house. We had the money for the down payment, and it's the house we live in now. And it actually did go up. It went up maybe $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 within the first few months, and then the bubble burst. And it went down, 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 like way down. And here's my typo, is in the post I wrote, it said that it went down like $2 million. It didn't. That would be so rad if our house was worth if it was worth enough that it could have depreciated $2 million, but it did go down almost $200,000. And it's slowly risen back up. It's not that real estate is necessarily a bad investment, but it's just the bubble has burst and people think about it differently and do things differently. And back in the time when I bought my house, it was the time there was this show on TV, and it was called like Flip This House or something like that. And it was, I would watch these people who didn't know what they were doing, but it didn't really matter. They bought this house, they made all these mistakes, they had like a 30-day timeline, and it took them 4 months to sell the house, and they had contractors quit, and they made tons and tons of mistakes. But at the end of the day, it didn't matter because the boom was so great. They still were profiting $50, $60, $70, $80,000 on the house. But when the bubble burst, that stopped, right? People who knew what they were doing, people who had the experience, people who had the expertise, they could still flip houses. But it wasn't a guarantee anymore that you buy, you know, the worst house in the best neighborhood and you fix it all up and you're going to make a big profit. And I know I'm talking about real estate, and the idea is that we're talking about email marketing. But that's why I have my guest on today, Lisa Ingalls, is because Lisa and I have been chatting for a while about this idea of the email marketing bubble and how it used to be that like you could just sort of put a freebie out there and build a list. You would build a list with a well-titled freebie, and you could kind of go through a few steps that seemed to be like the right steps to take, and you would stumble your way into success in email marketing. And what we have found, what we are noticing, is that that's no longer the truth. That what used to be true in the world of online marketing isn't. That it's harder and harder to build an email list, and even if you have a really big email list, that the responsiveness of that email list, right? Just like the house that you bought, like, okay, I bought this house, but the idea that you could flip it for a massive profit quickly just is no longer the case. And the same, I believe, holds true with the email marketing bubble. So Lisa, I don't want to keep talking on, and I recognize that I totally have not introduced you well, so I'm looking over at my other screen just so I can peek into an introduction for you and at least give you something. But you know what? I think I won't. I think I'm just going to let you start talking, and we will have, we will sort of get to the intro. No, I'll do it. Talking to myself here. Okay. Lisa Ingalls is a total expert in the world of Google+, and she has really stumbled upon a new paradigm, a new way to market well online. And the way she's doing that is through Hangouts and through conversation. And Lisa is a pioneer. She's actually doing something right now that, as far as we know, nobody else has done. And yesterday was the first day in a Hangout series that she has, and not a public Hangout series, it's a training. But Lisa got hundreds of signups, hundreds of opt-ins, and an amazing live rate of people being there without sending a single email. So, oh dear, it looks like I may have lost you, Lisa. So I'm going to give Lisa a second to hop back into our Hangout while I go ahead and tell you what it was that I had planned to tell you in the first place. So just back to my initial thing on email marketing and the bubble bursting. Oh, I see Lisa's back in. False alarm. You're here.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. So I'm going to put you on the screen. We're going black here for a minute. Wouldn't you know it, the day that we have Lisa Ingalls on the show, the woman who is the Hangout like superstar, yeah. I see nothing, which just means it's so weird, Lisa. I see you in my film strip, but when I click on your face, it goes blank. I do not know what is up with that.
So let me do this.
All right. Everybody's just looking at me in my living room while we figure this out. Oh, this is funny. So just so you all know, this happened to Lisa too. I think if you watch my show, you know that for me, right, when something is really, really important, I think to the call of my soul, to my life's purpose, or if it's really, really important for me to share, my energy creates problems with technology. So it can be really, really frustrating when I am on the phone and I'm, being coached, or it's something that I really need to hear that is important for me, because inevitably calls will be dropped, like I'll have problems, whatever. And then it happened with Lisa Cherney. Lisa Ingalls had Lisa Cherney on her show, which was like a big important moment for her, and wouldn't you know, that is when the glitches happen. So Lisa, I see that you are back.
Here.
I'm putting you on the screen. So that was a little rocky start, but
here's a good learning point, because this has happened to me, like you said before, or like you were just saying, it happened with Lisa Cherney. It's happened like maybe a couple times. Doesn't happen that often, but one of the things that I realized is that when your guest drops out like that, you always need to have a backup plan. Like, what am I going to say during that time to fill up the 2 or 3 minutes? Like, I realized, ooh, it would be really cool if I had like a trailer that I made, like a little commercial. We're going to go to station break now. You know how they do on the radio when things go wrong? They're like, we're just going to go to station break right now, and we'll be back in just a moment. And I'm like, oh, that's great. I need to do that. It was like a total learning. Have I done that yet? No. But it's always good. Like, it just has you be nimble on your feet, right, Carrie?
Yeah, so I mean, funny that you should say that, because I was just chatting away, telling everyone my life story, and but what I was saying, and I've said this on my show before, is I know that when this is just me and my energy and what happens for me, that when something's really important, either for me, for my soul, or that it's important to my purpose, like I think this show is important that we get this word out and talk about it, that's when I find glitchiness. That it's like, I blame it on myself. It's like my little nervous energy out there is causing issues. So enough about that. Let's get to the meat of it, which is, just because I sort of fumbled through all that, can you just tell us what you're doing right now, and go ahead and toot your own horn a little bit on how it's kind of groundbreaking?
How you cut out for a second there. Tell us how the Google Hangouts are groundbreaking.
Sure, start there.
Or what was your question? There was one word that you said there. I'm like, oh, I missed that word.
No, I was just saying, tell us what you're doing right now. I'm talking specifically about the training that you have going on and why it's so groundbreaking. And maybe we need to step backwards and say why you initially started, how this.
Yeah, okay, so yeah, that's great. Let's start with this idea of email marketing. The email marketing bubble has burst. And so it goes back to, for me, this idea of the reason why email marketing, webinars, teleseminars aren't having as much stickiness anymore for people across the board is primarily has to do with one thing. I think, this is my opinion, and that has to do with relationships and connection. And there's only so many relationships and so much connection that we can make within the time we have within a day. The problem is that we have become so inundated with other people's agendas, which happen through the email marketing, if we're talking about the email marketing, but ads, posts, articles, and it's something that I refer to, or that is referred to in the world of integral theory, the me space, and so it's like all about me. And I am giving you my agenda, and this is what I want you to know about me. There's always an underlying agenda around it, and I think that it's become, people are really feeling that more and more. Everybody, my mom, who's 68-year-old baby boomer, she's even told me I get way too many emails. Now everybody wants to do a webinar, you know. So it's not just, it's everybody is experiencing this type of fatigue. And so it goes back to, for me, this concept that one of the deepest human needs is the need for connection. The problem is that given all of the digital space that we have right now and everything that's happening in the online world, it seems like we should feel more connected, but we just don't. The reason why we don't feel connected is because other people are trying to fire hose us with their agendas. We're not being seen, and we're not being heard. Like, do people really care when they're sending me their emails what I think about that subject or about it? And honestly, I get these emails and I keep opting out because I don't care. Number one, I don't care. They haven't even listened to see if I care about what they're talking about. Number two, I might disagree or I might have a different perspective, and I don't get the chance to email them back because it's just their email autoresponder. That's not always the case. I'm sort of being on the dramatic side, but it's just how it feels. So yeah, so that's what the point is it's about connection, right, Carrie?
Yeah.
Or lack of.
Or lack of. So yeah, so I mean, I can hear the arguments in my own head, like as you're talking, going, well, sometimes they send me an email, like a survey, but I've, like, tell me what you think, or what would you like to know about, and I often fill out those surveys because I think there is a natural human thing, right, to want to help another person. But I've also totally caught on to what they're doing, which is they're creating their next product. They're creating their next thing that they're going to sell to me. And so if I'm trying to think of people's lists that I'm on. So I'm going to tell the truth about my inbox, and I'm hoping that you're going to tell the truth about yours. But, like, I'm on a lot of lists, right? I'm a coach, and I'm in the online space, and I want to learn how to do well online and earn money online and sell more than my one-on-one time, right? I'm not trying to hide that. And my inbox is so inundated with the same emails, right? Because, like, right now everybody is promoting, at least everyone who I'm in circles, I get maybe 5 or 6 people sending me the same email every day. Right now people are promoting this Wealth Through Workshops thing, which is, I'm sure, is a fantastic program. I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying their endorsement starts to feel insincere when it's the exact same email from 5 or 6 different people. But that, I digress. What I wanted to ask about your inbox is, I have Gmail, and so everything goes to my promotions folder, so I very rarely open it. I don't open promotions anymore, which means their marketing is not as effective to me as it used to be because I'm not opening their emails. And the ones that do make it into my inbox, I think that's what I'm seeing is I recognize them instantly as an autoresponder, and I delete. So I'm just curious about your inbox and where you are with that.
Yeah, so I have opted out of every person's email because I've been, number one, is nobody's telling me anything I don't already know in this space of coaching. And that might sound arrogant, but there comes a time when you've done so many programs. I've spent literally tens of thousands of dollars, probably close to $100,000 in my education, buying how many can I count of $2,000 programs or $3,000 or $5,000 programs, coaching programs, to learn everything from marketing to video to strategy and this and that and blah, 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 blah. So it's like, not to mention all of the live events. One year I capped out at like, I think it was 9 live events that I went to. And I'm like, okay, I got the live event thing down, I know. And then this year I was like, I'm committing to not even going to any live events, except for I had 2 that I had already committed to in 2013 that I already paid for 2014. So I'm like, stop the insanity, Lisa. I'm done. I know all that stuff. So I've opted out of everybody's list. People who were colleagues of mine, I opted out of all of their lists because I was getting their promotions, and honestly it was pissing me off because I do the same thing as you. So I don't need your coaching program or product. I don't want it. But I'm super happy for you to email me and be, what's up, Lisa? Let's connect. Let's do this project together. Or can you help me with that? That's the type of email I want to get from my colleagues. I don't want to be put on their list. And I had a few of my colleagues actually email me and say, how come you opted out of my list? And I said, sorry, don't take it personally, because I really like you and I love what you're doing. I can't handle the emails anymore. And honestly, I'm not going to buy your stuff. because I do the same thing, or it's not what I need, it's not what I'm interested in. This is called knowing your list and sending them what they want to be sent. It becomes spam if you don't know your list and you're sending them something they don't want to be sent in the first place. So hopefully that answers your question a little bit about my email inbox. Yeah.
Okay, yes, sorry, I'm talking and I've muted myself. So yeah, I'm just watching the comment stream, and there are two from some actually colleagues that we both know that I want to address right away. So the first is Alan Chong, says, not sure the email bubble is bursting. Email is still important for communication. Now we want more. Sophisticated, public, concise communication and video leads to engagement and builds trust. Relationships are key to good business, period. And I think that addresses what sort of the reason I compared it to real estate is in the same way that I don't think real estate's a bad investment anymore. Like, it's not a bad investment. It's just you can't do it the way you did it in 2002, where it was like you could buy anything and, you know, put a new countertop in there and sell it for a huge profit. And then, which leads to Edward's comment, which says, this is the part of the description that got my attention. Despite what the experts are preaching, their open rates, conversion rates, and bottom lines are suffering. So I know this is kind of what the meat that you and I want to get into anyway, so let's get into it. Let me put you back up.
So we'll address really quick. Alan's comment is totally right. And we're not saying like email marketing is that you shouldn't be doing it. I believe you need to do email marketing, but your email marketing should be driven first, in my opinion, by conversations that you've had and this concept of a return on engagement. Stop thinking about return on investment. A return on investment mentality is, how big is my list size? You know, so I can just give them my emails and send my JV partner emails, versus a return on engagement, which means I'm taking the time to cultivate a relationship, which is what Alan is talking about. I'm taking the time to nurture that relationship that I have, and then when I email them, they're like, oh yeah. And I'm not talking about the videos and the articles that everybody has done to engage and nurture a relationship. I'm talking about real-time conversation, face-to-face, heart-to-heart conversation. And what that means is that you have to take time out of your schedule to actually do this. In the past, that meant going to networking events. Now that technology is here for us, for you and I, Carrie, and Alan, who's out there, is Hangouts. Hangouts allow us to have conversations, heart-to-heart conversations, and it's those conversations that turn into conversions, not the content. And I consider email marketing that has not been supported with conversations just content. So that was a little quick nutshell.
No, so that's perfect. So I want to read you George's comment, and then I think I want to talk about what has happened for you, how you kind of stumbled across what it is that you're doing now, but that it came from that space really of being like your soul was just aching for actual engagement. So here's what George says. He says, email campaign exhaustion. It's what's for breakfast. And it's what's piled up in your inbox. So many campaigns have refined and refined their subject lines for hookiness and stickiness, and still I have a crap load of emails. The result, email campaign immunity. That's what I feel that I have. And it just says Lisa's example spells it out. And I think that speaks to what Edward's talking about, and what I hope that I didn't convey in my message. It's not that I believe that the experts are like that they're somehow preaching something that they don't believe is true. It's just that I can feel the landscape changing. I know what's happening in my own inbox, and when we're having the conversation with friends, and it's the idea that what worked for the experts to get to the top it's 2002, and we are sitting, if we're going to the real estate thing, right now in email marketing, we are sitting in the 2006 or 2007 of the real estate market, if that makes sense. So I'm going to switch to your story, what's happened for you with Hangouts, and how you've come to be doing what you're doing right now?
Well, yeah, I think for me, it came from the frustration a year ago of all of those emails and all the things we were talking about, and just realizing, okay, it's not working for me. In fact, I had a whole huge program that I created that was a mind-body running program. I was so excited about it. I wrote a book. I did everything by the formula. Like, I wrote the book. I did a book launch. I created the automated webinar. I made the membership site, and it completely flopped because I was following this formula. Well, in retrospect, now I look back, because I was following a formula, being inauthentic to who I really am, because I was doing what everybody else was doing, which is what I still see people doing. So I was trying everything. That's just one example. I was trying the social media, trying the email marketing, all of this stuff. I spent, like I said, have spent close to $100,000 in learning all of this stuff. And I put myself through like a master's degree, right, in online marketing business, and I'm a coach. I'm a transformational coach. So I got to that point where I was like, I can't handle this anymore, and I hadn't tried Google Plus, and I hadn't tried Hangouts, and I thought, it actually came to me in meditation, that, okay, I think I'm going to try the Google Plus and the Hangouts thing, because that's the last thing. I haven't tried it. I'm going to give myself 3 months to figure this out. If it doesn't work, I'm done. I'm like throwing in the rag, and I'm just going to, like, I don't know what I'm going to do. That was really where I was at. And so Hangouts, what happened for me immediately was I saw how different they were, and but all of a sudden I was able to be authentically me, because I realized at the core of who I am is a coach. And as a coach, what I value is connection and communication, real authentic connection and communication. And through Hangouts, I was all of a sudden able to do that. I was able to see people face to face. I was able to be with anyone, anywhere, like in the world, anytime, expand my audience to a global audience in no time. And so, yeah, I stumbled upon the Hangouts thing because, and it worked for me. It has worked for me because I work really well with a medium that allows me to be me, unscripted, authentic, and just who I am. And none of that came through in my emails. None of that came through in my automated webinars. All of the stuff that I was trying to do, even, I think I told you, Carrie, I wrote this book from my heart. Like, this book was like a decade of my my experience, and I put it out there on Amazon, and I have 50% people give it 5-star ratings. Love it, Lisa, love what you have to say. 50% gave me 0 stars or 1 star. So, because they're like, she's just trying to scam you for money, and she just wants money out of you. This is a total scam. The book is 99 cents, people. I'm like, yeah, I'm trying to scam you for my money. But what they saw is that I was using a formula to get people to learn more about other things that I was doing, and they felt manipulated and contrived. It felt contrived, and I get it now. The book is still up there. I was like, it's an experiment, man, at this point. So,
Lisa, I have myself back up on screen for a minute, because holy crap, it's 10:59. This is what happened. Well, one, we had the snafu at the beginning, which I'm just going to blame constantly on me. And then the second thing is, wait, I can't remember the second thing. Oh, I want to make sure we get to, so I'm just warning you all, we're going to go a tiny bit over. Hope that's okay. And also, I'm going to stay around, and Lisa, I don't know if you can stay around, but when we end the broadcast, I'll post the link to the green room, and those of you who still have questions or want to have the conversation, I'll still be around. I don't know if Lisa can stay. But because, yeah, I have some people asking some pretty awesome questions, but I also want to be really respectful of everyone's time who is here for the half hour. And so that's a good reminder, right? Is we have the comment stream here. It is meant, it's there for you guys all to engage in conversation. And I just really love what's happening over there right now. People are sharing their experiences. Edward in particular is asking for data on the decline. So that's why I actually put something there for Edward saying, oh my gosh, we have to keep talking about this. And maybe it's another show for us, Lisa, that we can do. But for now,
can I say something quick to that? Yeah. Sorry, I'm gonna. Okay, so Edward, I know people like numbers on this, and I have, for the last 7 months, constantly been looking around for articles on this, and there are two sides: people who say email marketing is not dead, and the people who say email marketing is dead. When we say dead, again, we're not saying don't use it. We're saying it's a changing landscape. Here's what Carrie is talking about. I don't know about Carrie, but I know some people that from the big people who are using these things, they're saying it's not working. I don't know personally what the numbers are, and I'm not saying it's not working, but it's not working like it used to. Here's the other thing. I did a whole series of Hangouts with engagement experts, and across the board, the comments, hundreds of comments from regular people like Carrie and I, and people who are just looking for products and services saying, I hate emails. I hate the emails in my inbox. So this is sort of like the foreshadowing when people are saying all of this stuff, and maybe we don't have the exact numbers yet, but people are saying they don't even open their emails anymore. When I'm hearing this, it's like, okay, it's not just me. I don't know what the numbers say. There's still the two sides. I feel like it's like climate change, you know? Are you kidding me that you don't believe in climate change? The science says it. Well, now they have numbers. I don't have those numbers for you. So sorry, I just wanted to interject that because I think that's a valid point that Edward makes. I want to see the numbers.
Okay, Lisa, so we're just gonna bust right through our 11 o'clock deadline for one more thing on that. And that's my dog, by the way. Every show, the mailman comes. Every show, the dog barks. So what you just said really struck a nerve with me because that's what I'm talking about when I say that I can feel it. And it is, right, we're all in these circles, or at least Lisa and I operate in these circles where our colleagues are other authors, coaches, speakers who do their business online. And I wrote about it, I alluded to it in my post when I said, when I was shopping for this house, all the real estate experts were telling me, oh, you can't lose. In exactly the same way that right now, all the email marketing experts, all the people who built their empires with email marketing are saying, no, you can't lose. That's the only way to go. It's the thing. And I'm saying, you know, I'm 10 years older now and a lot more in touch with my own intuition and hopefully a little bit more business savvy. I'm saying no, the landscape is changing and there's something new out there. And so we're like 4 minutes over, but I want to just speak to the link that's under my name. And Lisa, I'm hoping that you will speak to it. I think you'll do more justice to it than I will. To the link under my name and exactly what it is that you have going on right now. You guys can tell I'm really passionate about it. It's because I just know it. I know it for sure, and I've been doing. This is my 7th Hangout on Air, and I've seen a massive difference and increase in my business and my engagement, and just the way things are going with me. So, talk about what you've got going on right now, Lisa.
Yeah. So thanks, Carrie. So yeah, what we have going on right now is a mini course, a free mini course called From Ground Zero to Hangout Hero, and the tagline is Get Noticed and Get Clients with Google Hangouts. So basically what we're doing over the course of 4 sessions, again, it's all free Hangouts, is teaching you how you can harness the power or leverage the power of Hangouts to connect and communicate your message to the world, and yes, eventually monetize on it. The underlying theme of this is that we're starving for connection. Connection happens through conversations, and conversations can best be had using Google Hangouts. And So I'm teaching actually on Friday all the techie stuff. How do you start a Hangout, the different types of Hangouts that you have? How do you use those Hangout wrappers like Webinar Jam? And then on Sunday, I'll be going into a 4-part strategy of how to implement Hangouts into your coaching business so that you can create a scalable and profitable business using Hangouts. And then Tuesday, we'll be talking about how to monetize your Hangouts. And that link is on Carrie's lower third. That's goo.go/burr7dw9.
So I put myself back on the screen because I just posted it in the comment section. So if you're looking for it, you don't have to like figure out what Lisa just said. You can look for it. That is my affiliate link. I'm just going to be totally transparent in that because I'm really supporting Lisa in what she's doing right now. So yeah, and Lisa, I also wanted to tell you that George Green has commented, damn the clock, go long. But I do want to be respectful of those of you who, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the green room. So, but before I do, I want to give Lisa one last closing statement. We'll go off air. Those of you who are still interested in hanging out, I'll post the link to the green room as well in just a moment. So Lisa, closing thoughts?
Yeah, well, first of all, thanks for having me on your show, Carrie. It's always fun to hang out with you and with everybody else who's viewing. Thank you so much just for taking the time out of your day. It all, for me, really does, like I say, come down to this concept of return on engagement, that like the evolution of the whole online arena and marketing space, in my humble opinion, is about connection, real human connection. And we're getting back to the old days of like it was 100 years ago when you lived in a village or in a small town and you knew the baker and you knew the seamstress and you knew each other by first name. And yeah, it takes a little bit of time and effort, but you know what? When you have those real conversations with people, you don't need an email list of 3,000 or 30,000. You can have a handful of people that you've had awesome connections and conversations with, and that's all you need, because they become your ambassadors and then they spread the word for you. And this is what I believe is the evolution of the online marketing. At the same time, the Google Hangouts allow us to spread that message and connect with more people heart to heart and authentically faster than anywhere in the world. So that was a long closing sentence. But thanks, Carrie.
That is okay, Lisa, because that was beautiful and perfect, and actually leads into, it looks like Edward had to go, but he has the most amazing closing statements that I'm going to read them. So Edward says, thanks for the comments regarding numbers and trends, more tools making it easier for people to compensate as email marketers offering information products equals more competition for mindshare equals lower open and click rates on average. Also exacerbated by lots of folks offering very similar offerings. It seems to me differentiation is key, either being an early mover into a new channel like Google Hangouts and or offering something uniquely valuable that is new. That's my 2 cents. Thanks for the hangout and comments on this topic. Gotta run, my blessings, Edward. But Edward just spoke to something that I think is what Lisa and I are so feeling like rock solid about, is yes, it's the early adopter thing, and that I believe Lisa is a pioneer in the world of using Hangouts, and I'm watching what she's doing and seeing the engagement that she has and the amount of, I mean, the fact that she had hundreds and hundreds of people opting into this thing that I have the awesome the awesome URL for, but with zero email marketing, and that she found people coming to her saying, can I promote you? Joint venture partners saying, oh my gosh, I love what you're doing. I love what you're about. Can I please post about it? Or people sharing it because it's worth sharing and not because that, you know, there's a potential for an affiliate commission down the road. It's just like this huge breath of fresh air. and speaks to the whole early adopter thing, is that, yeah, I believe this. I believe that the way that Lisa is doing things, the way that we are headed, is about engagement. It's about doing what we're doing right now, having a real conversation, a real unscripted, non-webinar-like conversation. And sometimes, you know, as we talk about, sometimes we teach things in our Hangouts. Sometimes we just have conversations. But the point is, it's authentic, it's real, and we're listening. We're reading the comments, and we're engaging. So I am going to go because it's 11:11. So that is just a good time to stop. But I will stay in the green room. I keep saying, I don't know if Lisa can, and I keep not asking her, and I've got her on mute right now. So, but I'm going to close up the show here and just say, click that link, see what it's about. If it resonates with you, join us in that training. Guys, we just did the first one. There are 3 more to go, and there is a replay of the first one. But join us, because I really do believe that we are in the next wave. We're in the next wave of how to do business online, and it is no longer 100% focused, that there's a new formula emerging. Maybe we're figuring out what that new formula is, but that it is not 100% focused on building a big list and then, you know, crafting just the right email and making the perfect, the exactly right salesy teleseminar to get the conversion rate. That as a community, we have, as purchasers, we've caught on to that formula, and we are now like numb and immune to it. So, and yeah, I think Edward's right. Like, unless it's something so different, so new, or really just, yeah, it really just hits something specific, so specific, that it's just noise. And so that's where I am with that. So I'm going to close up this Hangout and just give you guys all a great big virtual hug and say thank you for coming. I'm going to stop the broadcast, and in just a minute I will post the link in the comment section, because I see you guys are still commenting. So I'll post the link in the comment section so that those of you who want to can join us in the Hangout. So thanks so much. Thanks, Lisa. See you guys later.